Good morning, folks. It's Emily Wilmoth here, environmental educator with New Jersey Audubon, coming at you live from the Cape May Hawkwatch. I'm going to keep my mask on for this live streaming session because we've got a lot of visitors up here today, which is excellent. Yesterday was our highest total hawks of the season so far. We had about 3,800 raptors migrate through Cape May yesterday. Incredible. We are over 18,000 birds for the season so far. So things are really heating up here in Cape May. And glad you're joining us again for another Friday live streaming session. So today's topic is habitat, hawks and habitat. So a habitat essentially is a place where an animal lives, where it gets all the requirements that it needs to survive. And I actually have all of these requirements here in my lunchbox today. So for folks that are standing here on the platform with me this morning, what's something that all animals need to survive, including humans? Water, perfect. So let's see, do I have water in my lunchbox? I do. Water, absolutely. All living things, all animals need water to survive. What else? Food. Food, ding, ding, ding. I've got my banana for a snack up here on the Hawkwatch this morning. So water, food, what else?
Cover.
Cover, perfect, or shelter. Yeah, so I brought my umbrella. It's a nice sunny day, but I always like to have an umbrella with me up at the Hawkwatch in case it starts to rain. I can have shelter to protect me from the elements. So that's all that's actually in my lunchbox, but the other thing that we need to survive is the empty space within the lunchbox. Yeah, so food, water, shelter, and space are the requirements that an animal needs. And if it can find all of those requirements in a certain place, that place qualifies as good habitat for that animal. So for me, I guess my habitat is my apartment building, right? I've got my kitchen full of food. I've got a shower and a sink to give me water, a roof over my head for shelter, and plenty of space to, live. I've got a different place to sleep, place to cook, an open floor to do my exercise. So I have all of my habitat requirements in my apartment. Raptors, on the other hand, are living in different ecosystems, which make up their habitat. So I'm going to use a couple examples of birds that we've talked about in prior sessions, like the osprey, for instance. So an osprey's habitat needs to be around water. So osprey eat almost exclusively fish. So their habitat will be near a lake or a river or a marsh, a place with shallow water where they can catch fish. In terms of their shelter, the place where they build their nests needs to be up high. They build their nests on top of either human-created platforms or tall trees or maybe telephone poles. So those are kind of the requirements that an osprey needs for its habitat. Comparing this to a different raptor, maybe the American kestrel, you'll see birds have different habitats. So kestrels need open space, often with short vegetation, where they can hunt for their prey. So maybe small rodents, maybe grasshoppers or dragonflies. These things can be found, in these open fields. But for shelter, kestrels actually nest in cavities. So they also need some big old trees around. They can't actually create their own cavity. So they have to find a cavity that's either naturally occurring in an old tree or that maybe like a woodpecker created, or maybe a human structure that provides a nice cavity for a kestrel. So because kestrels have these sort of like unique habitat requirements, the combination of the open space and the cavities, they've really suffered from what we call habitat loss. And habitat loss is simply the reduction of quality habitat for a certain species, and it's often, unfortunately, due to humans. So say, there's this really beautiful field that is right up against a forest edge where kestrels are nesting in tree cavities and hunting over the field. But we, mow down the field, pave it, and put up a strip mall. Now the kestrels are probably not going to nest in that area any longer. Good news is with kestrels specifically, and with lots of other birds, is you can help provide quality habitat for these animals in your garden, in your backyard. Again, I'm in an apartment, so I don't really have a lot of flexibility in my backyard, but maybe at my workplace, or maybe, at your school. Kestrels, you can put up nest boxes for them. So they're just, bird houses, essentially, with holes in them. You just have to make sure it's the right dimensions and place it in an area you think kestrels will be able to find, the food that they need. And hopefully you can help provide habitat for kestrels, or monarch butterflies, for instance, which we're seeing a lot of migrating through right now. You can plant milkweed in your yard and other native nectar plants that the adult monarchs will feed on. So it's not all bad news. Yes, habitat loss is affecting birds, but yes, you can make a difference in your own space. So our raptor of the week is the peregrine falcon. Yay! I don't have my peregrine falcon cut out here today, but peregrine falcons are really interesting in terms of habitat. So they're really, really wide ranging. They can actually be found on every continent except Antarctica. So they cover a really wide range. They can be found across North America, but are often more common along coastlines. And peregrines like to nest in high places as well. So they're often nesting along ledges on cliff sides. But they've also adapted really, really well to urbanization. So peregrine falcons can nest on the tops of tall buildings in cities and actually hunt pigeons in the city. So they're an example of birds that have really been able to keep up and maintain their populations even with the human development going on around them. So peregrines like to eat other birds. They eat a wide variety of other birds, and their speed really comes in handy when they're hunting birds. So they can actually stoop down at their prey at over 200 miles an hour. So when that peregrine comes in at, another bird flying through the sky, hits it with its talons at 200 miles an hour, it basically knocks it out, stuns it, and then it uses its beak and its special little triangular shape called a tomial tooth to actually snap the neck of the prey and finish off the job. So just excellent predators, peregrine falcons. It's been an awesome week up here for peregrines. We had a day where we had close to 100 peregrine falcons in a single day this week. And ways to identify them is they're the largest of the falcons. They've got these really long, pointed wingtips, really powerful but fluid wing beats. And when you're seeing them from underneath flying over the Hawkwatch, they've got this beautiful black and white checkered pattern on the underside of their wings. Kind of a bluish gray back, dark head, and they've got those sideburn stripes along their face as well. So it's been an awesome week for falcons. Hoping to see a lot more come through today. Is there any questions coming through, Eric?
Donna wrote, not a question, but just complimenting. She's enjoying this information so much. Donna, it's great to have you with us this morning.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you, Donna. So great. As always, this video will be posted on our Facebook page following the live session. If any questions come up afterwards, feel free to post them in the comments section and we will do our best to respond. Again, teachers or parents, there are lesson extensions to go with these live streaming sessions, which will be posted on the New Jersey Audubon website. Just go to newjerseyaudubon.org and find the specific Cape May Hawkwatch page within the New Jersey Audubon page, and you'll see all the videos and all the lesson extensions available there. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.